They must have kept shells in here somewhere. A small portion of the rats broke off to immediately attend to the new task. Shells, yes. We smell powder. We will start looking. Ricky put the sling around him, adjusted the slack a little bit, and folded it under some of his rags. Ricky then listened carefully as a second set of digging and rustling started, but he heard something else as well, something above them in the room they recently were. He heard the rain showering down, but he also heard footsteps. Apparently the team had circled back and were adamant on finding him. Maybe they were bored, or maybe he was a higher priority than he thought. Someone must have seen him and alerted them. Ricky went back to the stairs and carefully ascended to where he had shut the latch and closed it as tight as he could with the wheel. The electronic bolt locks had disengaged a long time ago. They could get through this if enough of them were strong enough or knew how to use leverage with a crowbar to budge it. He listened down to the rats, and they were all still whispering about their tasks, some given by him and some instructional and instinctual and self-driven. Ricky put his ear to the door and heard the security team pattern out. There were more than before, twice as many. Ricky would have risked an open battle with 3 of them, but now with 6 it would be a bad trade and he'd be unlikely to survive. He was trapped with nowhere to go. His worst fear. It didn't take long for the team to find the vault door in the floor and start trying to figure it out. Ricky heard voices clearly. Found a vault door in the floor. Must be some kind of spy. You never know. We've executed 3 spies this month and are still no closer to finding out. So many talking at the same time, Ricky couldn't make out all the conversations. Either way, we have to get this open. Alright, Ricky couldn't follow any single conversation for long. Either way, we have to get this open. This is where that big corporate bigwig was hiding out when the place blew up 6 months or so ago. The one running those experiments, yeah. We still don't even know who did this one. It was an accident, right? Doubtful given what we've seen recently. Stop the chatter, this could be the spy we're looking for. Ricky felt them trying to budge the vault wheel, but were unable to. Ricky rolled his eyes as they all cycled through trying to turn it. None of them were singularly strong enough, all trying to display feeble attempts at machismo. Betas will be betas, Ricky reminded himself in his head. In the background, the rat groups were all working on their tasks, but needing more time. The clawing of hundreds of tiny claws was almost deafening. More voices from upstairs. Pounding. He's trapped in there. We have time. How do you know? Good point. Let's all get around the wheel and try to turn it at the same time. Ricky heard some shuffling all around as they all maneuvered around the floor vault door and began to turn. Are you turning it the right way? One asked, trying to figure out the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey rule. There was a pause as they thought and twirled their fingers around and tried to think about how old clocks rotated. Ricky put his hands on the wheel to see if he could feel them moving it. Unfortunately, there was nothing down here to jam it in to close it. And he wasn't sacrificing what could be the only available shotgun or any of its components in the entire city. He could maybe rig up the shotgun's sling somehow to keep the wheel tight, but then he'd be slingless, which was no good for hands-free. Ricky heard renewed straining upstairs and felt the vault wheel budge slightly. Guys, I felt it move. Let's get a few more on here. Ricky heard more footsteps, and what sounded like 5 guys got on the vault door now and were all straining to turn it at the same time. Ricky felt it budge, but kept the wheel closed with brute strength. About 10 seconds in, though, he felt his feet sliding in the dust, unable to get traction. For a full minute, the 5 above strained against Ricky below until he was horizontal with his legs wrapped around the stairwell, leveraging the stairwell to augment his position as he held onto the wheel. Ricky grinned as it remained closed despite all of their efforts. Him having to exert some energy, but thankful for a decent workout finally. They all strained as they took gasping breaths and let go, all falling over. Ricky mused they would probably be stronger, but they ran out of testosterone drugs a long time ago and always seemed to be challenged to create their own like normal people once had. Ricky let go of the stairs with his legs and scuttled down for a little bit, wondering what to do next. The people above scooted away as someone else came dragging a pry bar. "I got this." The guy comically tried to bunch of wrong ways to pry the vault door open, but was within an eighth of an inch on all sides, and there was no way to get his bar in between the gaps. Someone laughed at him and explained a rudimentary level of leverage and attempted to train him on how he'd use leverage to get the wheel open. He banged the bar on the vault a few times before he finally got it. Ricky could probably resist the prying, but it would drain him of all his energy, which would do him no good when they would inevitably get some explosives to blow the blast door open. If they had shape charges, it would open this up like a tin can and kill him in the process with the concussion. As the wheel started to open properly with little effort, Ricky thought quickly and racked the shotgun as loud as he could. He imagined everyone on top just about urinating themselves as they heard it, the universal sound for "Leave now, last warning." "Gun!" one screamed. The bar instinctively dropped from another, clanging loudly. Ricky went down the stairs, looking frantically. "Shells, guys? An exit? Anything?" "Shells," the smaller group announced. Ricky started digging and moving stuff out of the way. The rats had found some shells hidden between support beams. Ricky grabbed all the boxes of the heavy and large ammo that he could find, shoving them in his satchel. Voices above. "Everyone relax. It was a shotgun. There are 6 of us." "Shut up. Don't tell him how many people we have." "Well, more are coming." "He probably doesn't have any ammo." They all stopped to think, the thought process taking forever because none of them were leaders in their deranged parody of a totalitarian neo-communist organization. They all remembered the Hollywood movies, though, before it got taken over by China and India. Shotguns blasted you across a room and vaporized you. They all had AKs, but knew based on memories that shotgun shells were several times bigger. They could get the door open, but nobody wanted to be the first in. Surely they would be flung across the room with a force that could dent the wall. Rational thought all but escaping them. More voices. "Someone's bringing a shield we can breach with. We'll be fine." The rest seemed to agree that they could wait a few more minutes. Ricky whispered, "Guys, we need an exit." Rat voices. "Yes, we found something. Yes, we did, but trapped." "Yes, it's trapped." Ricky responded in his head, "Of course it's trapped." Ricky finally figured out what happened. The mansion or whatever it was got blown up, but the occupant survived. He'd been hiding in the safe room where there was some kind of false wall, but it was trapped on the other side. If anyone but him came through, the exit would likely blow. He must have survived because nearly everything in here was gone, but nobody had been in since the explosion. Rats chewed and clawed through a portion of the wall. The few rats that made it through were working on the opening mechanism for the rest. They avoided the traps using their prior experience dealing with the merc traps and triggered an opening mechanism on the other side. The trap disarmed and the door opened. The remainder of the rats flooded through. Ricky grabbed his plant and as many more boxes of shells as he could and squeezed through with them. The rats all trained down the hall as fast as they could, carpeting it so that you couldn't see the floor. When they were all through, Ricky saw how the trap was disarmed and rearmed it, as it was local to this single entry. Ricky backed up a few steps and all the rats completed their exit. "Follow, follow," they said. "The way, we found the way." Ricky knew he only had moments left as they were forcing the blast door's mechanism open. He opened a box of shells and set a single shotgun shell pointing up so they would see, then rearmed the trap safely from the other side. Ricky ran down the tunnel in the dark. The rats had already got a considerable ways ahead, and he could no longer see them. "We must hurry," came chattering in his ear. "Evil long gone." Whether imagined or not, the idea was right. They didn't have time. Ricky scurried as fast as he could down the hall. There was no cover or concealment except for the dark. A flashlight and a few shots from the AK would put him down. They had great range, although lacking marginal accuracy. 3 guys with 30 rounds apiece wouldn't matter much. Dead is dead. As he scuttled down the tunnel, he heard them breach the door and head in. "I heard him down the tunnel," one yelled, excited to figure out something so obvious. Ricky heard several echoes of footsteps down the middle stairs. Let's go after him. We need him alive. Ricky felt flashlights wash across him. I see him. Wait, I see a shotgun shell.